So you are doing science GCSE because everyone has to. It's a legal requirement. This video, if you're doing trilogy, I hope it helps you. Personally, I did separate sciences, biology, chemistry, physics, and let me just give you some tips on what I did to help me improve, because for a very long time my teachers were like, you're saying you really want 8s and 9s, but like, wow. I remember in particular one time, my chemistry teacher, he's an amazing person, but like it was parents' evening and he was like, yeah, maybe she could do well if she tried, because I was doing loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of revision, but I was doing the wrong thing. And this video is to stop you guys from making the same mistakes that I did. So let's jump right into it. Number one, passive revision has a time and it has a place. If you pay enough attention in class, it should have a very, very short time and a very, very secluded small space, if you get what I'm saying. So passive revision is reading the textbook and highlighting it, watching YouTube videos, things like that. So what I did, I started this in the summer before I started my GCSE, so the summer after year 8. I read through my textbook. I didn't finish the entire thing in the summer, I only did like the paper one, but I read through it, I highlighted it, and I took some notes on it. And the fact that I started early helped, but you can start whenever. I also watched the Primrose Kitten and the Science with Hazel summary video, so I knew that I had the content in my head. Then, this is a mistake that I didn't make. That's when you go into active revision and you start applying yourself. That is when you do all the practice questions. In the AQA textbook, we have questions at the bottom of the page and then questions at the end of a chapter, practice questions and summary questions. I did every question in every AQA textbook. Yes, that is correct. I did it all. If you're looking for answers to your textbook, literally Google it. I found 2 websites with the answers for my textbook. So by the time that I had finished the textbook, I had gotten to the point where I had seen all the mark schemes. So if you tell me respiration, I know that there's going to be certain words that I have to refer to, like aerobic or anaerobic, this and that was really, really helpful for when I was doing my mocks, because I was like, here's a question, when you read it you don't think they want you to refer to this or that, but because I've looked at so many mark schemes, I understand that it's crucial that I use the word aerobic, because if I don't, okay, yeah, the question makes sense, but I'm not going to get the mark because the mark is specifically for that word, and that is a very, 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 what am I doing? Very, very difficult thing to do. So yeah, I did all of the questions. I read the entire thing. I made sure I was very familiar with my textbooks. I got married, you guys. I got married. I looked at the textbook. The textbook looked at me and was like, you're not really gonna have a social life for 3 months. And that's okay, because you and me, we're gonna get familiar and you're gonna read it. So by the time biology paper 1 came and there was diabetes and everyone was like, that's not in paper 1. I was like, no, there's one paragraph in the paper 1 section on that. Like, you have to be committed if you really want to do really well in science, because it's so specific. It's not like humanities where there could be right, there could be wrong, you have leeway. It's this is right, this is wrong. What you're saying isn't incorrect, but it's not right. You haven't got specific buzzwords. So that's me referring to biology a lot. For chemistry, I would definitely recommend that you learn the specific tests and things like that. There are certain things that you may just have to cram. So with me, all the flame tests, the iron tests, I started learning them quite far in advance, but just before the exam I definitely crammed them. Flashcards don't work for everyone, and don't feel bad if they don't work. It's like, you don't have to ride that wave. They don't really work for me, and I only use them for specific things like definitions. If you want to learn definitions, on the exam board websites there will typically be a list of all the vocab you need to learn, and in the back of your textbooks there should also be a bunch of definitions right there. And make sure you know them, because the question could just be, what is aerobic respiration? Like, they could do that. And the more questions you do, the more you get familiar with the question types. Another thing that a lot of people did that I'm happy I didn't do is that they just saved the exam papers till the very end, and I started using them, and I did the exam papers maybe 3 times, because we had the specimen, the 2018, we had the secure specimen, we had all those ones. The more exam practice you get, the better. Let's be honest, you're not going to remember the questions, especially with like the specimens. They changed the specimens as well, so there was different versions of them. And okay, yeah, I did the 2018 paper in November, but when I did it in April, I didn't remember it. So you need to make sure that you are getting familiarized with the technique so that you can be like, okay, they have this type of question and that type of question. With required practicals, they're either going to ask me how to set it up, they're going to show me a variation of it, they're going to show me a diagram and ask me why is this incorrect, they're going to ask me how to improve it, they're going to ask me the weakness of this model. That's a very common one for chemistry and physics. What is the weakness of this balloon model for representing the universe, and the two weaknesses are, well, that is at a fixed position. The spots are in a fixed position, so that's suggesting that all the other galaxies and stuff are moving at the same rate, which is probably incorrect. And also, it's constantly expanding, and a balloon has a limit. Like, you need to make sure that you're getting familiar with this, because they literally, like, as much as, yeah, they can ask you different things, there's a type of question, and when you know the type, you will be okay. Physicsandmathstudio.com was okay. Didn't use it that much in the end because I was just using the textbook, but I would definitely recommend it. They have biology, chemistry, maths, physics, economics, geography, I think. Very good website to use. I definitely watched science with Hazel, Primrose Kitten. I used Sean Donnelly, free science lessons. All the science channels I use are in the channels tab of this channel. I also really want you guys to learn the required practicals as much as you can. Do you have to buy the workbook? Not necessarily, but you need to understand the practicals. You need to understand the variations of the practicals, and there's ways you can improve it. So you can use your phone instead of counting with your eyes, so that you can use time lapse and slow it down, or use a picture and do different things. You just need to have an understanding of exactly what the content is, and for certain content it is a lot of memorization. So when it's more like the end of chemistry, the end of biology, with like life cycle assessments, it's a bit more but you have to do it anyway. So yeah, those are my tips for you guys. If you're looking for Quizlet, I will leave a link to my Quizlet. I have paper 1, paper 2 for each 3 sciences. Share this with anyone who needs help with science, who's in year 10, about to go to year 11, a little bit nervous, feeling quite sick and like science, ew. But yeah, give it a thumbs up if it helped, a thumbs down if I'm just talking nonsense, and as always, make sure you wonderful people smile, subscribe, study hard, slay hard, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.